All right, guys, break out your pumpkin spice lattes because guess what? Spoopy time's back again.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. So, in light of Halloween coming up and it being October and everything, we decided that we're going to compile some of our favorite movies and some of our not so favorite movies together and kind of just talk about them just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, so let's start it off with one of my favorite movies of all times. Actually, I would say probably my favorite horror movie of all time. That's Stephen King's It. So if you've paid attention to or Twitch or anything like that, then you know that this is the most terrifying movie I've ever seen. Now, to some of you guys, I understand that it's probably not that scary, and time has not been good to Stephen King's It. It really hasn't. But you got to understand that I was like 5 years old the first time that I watched this movie, right? I think so, something like that. And
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know you were 5 years old there, sweetheart.
no, you may not have, but you watched it at a young age, didn't you?
Yeah, I watched it at a very young age, and it terrified me. It did, but now that I've got older and I watch it, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, I mean, the acting is fucking terrible. Let's get that out of the way first. So the adult acting in the movie is just fucking god awful, of course. But the children acting in the movie, fucking stellar, man. The children's acting in the movie, and you got to think of how star-studded this movie actually was. Which we know it wasn't a movie; it was a made-for-TV miniseries. But yeah. So you had Seth Green play one of the kids who's without a doubt one of my favorite actors of all time. And the adult actors, you had who was it? Was it Jason Ritter, Paul Ritter? I don't know. It was one of the Ritters.
Jason Ritter.
Was it? Yeah, it was one of the Ritters, and there was a couple other ones, but of course the main actor was Tim Curry, who played Pennywise, and that is without a doubt my favorite Tim Curry performance.
Yeah.
It's just fucking stellar. It really is. And so yeah, I can watch it now, and yeah, it's nothing. But when I watched it when I was that little,
yeah, it terrified you.
It terrified me. And let's kind of go over the difference between between being scared and being terrified. So, to me, being scared is just it's a jump scare. It's something that you watch the movie and then you get over it, and that's scary.
Yeah.
But being terrified
is when you can't sleep for like a week straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when,
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the difference to me.
Me
and
too.
this movie fucking terrified me from the first time I watched it, and when I was like 5 years old, up until I was probably about 12 years old. Taking a shower was a rough time for me.
Oh yeah, the drain. I mean, it scared, I say probably everybody as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was just so much about this movie that just made it one of my all-time favorites of all time. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. And it was the type of thing that I went on to read the book. I went on to watch the other movies, and I will say, I hate when people say this, but the book is so much fucking better. The book is so much better than the movies. And then you got the whole Tim Curry versus Bill Skarsgård debate. Who did the better Pennywise? And to me, that's just not even a discussion, because Bill Skarsgård, he could have done that. He could have based his performance off of Tim Curry's and tried to do what Tim Curry did, but he didn't. He made his Pennywise completely separate from Tim Curry's.
I give that to him because he done it from what he wanted it, what he felt that playing it was.
Exactly. And you gotta give him...
He done his own. I gotta give that to him.
Yeah. And it was fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. So you're comparing two things that can't be compared when you compare Bill Skarsgård to Tim Curry's Pennywise.
Yeah.
Because they're completely different.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, an all-time classic and one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Completely terrified me. Probably the scariest movie I ever watched at that age.
Yeah.
Now, no, not so much. So I understand if people are a little,
Yeah.
really? But no. When I was that little, it was fucking
so scary.
end all of horror movies.
Yeah.
So that's why I give it such a high rating. Okay, you're next.
Me? Okay.
Yep.
So, what I picked for my most terrifying, what I think was something that scared me to death, was Insidious.
Yeah.
And I was like 19, 20, maybe not even that old when I watched it.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that sticks with you. I don't care if you're an adult. I don't care. We still won't watch it. We won't watch it no more because it terrified me that bad.
No.
I could not sleep for a week straight. I had nightmares, or more like night terrors. I mean, I flipped out watching that movie. I could not go to sleep or nothing.
And it was a movie that we watched together.
Yes. And I was in my teen years. I was about to hit my early 20s. And, oh my gosh, I was terrified. And just the red demon face. And all I can think of is Darth Maul when I think of his face.
Yeah.
But it's a more scarier version because it's a demon. It's going to get you.
Yeah.
And I remember I would make him come sit in the back because we was just married, and I made him come sit in the bathroom with me because I was so scared to take a shower by myself.
I wouldn't say we were just married. We'd probably been married for a while. I mean, I'm not sure when the movie came out, honestly. But I would say, yeah, it was probably...
It was when we first was newly married.
Yeah, it was probably in our late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I feel the same way about that movie. In my whole life, there's only been 2 movies that have ever terrified me.
Yeah.
And one was It, and the other was Insidious.
Yeah.
And I can see the debate over, oh, well, Insidious isn't that scary. Well, I mean, to some it may not be. Just like to some it may not be. It's all based upon what you find scary, and what we find scary may not be exactly what you find scary.
Yeah.
But to us, that movie is fucking
And you gotta
terrifying.
admit, the song Tiptoeing Through
the Tulips. Yeah.
It was so scary. It just that song gives me the coldest chills there ever was. I mean, I can't get over the fact of, you look over at Patrick Wilson real quick and there's Darth Maul,
Yeah.
demon,
Yeah.
the demon, and you're just like, oh my God, and and then knowing that little boy is going between dreamland and like what's the word I'm looking for?
The further.
Yeah.
It was the further.
But
It's a
thing that's really supposed to
astral
be
projection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they said, and thinking about that, and then people saying that stuff could be real, or that it is real. People may say it's not. I don't know. I've just heard stories. I've read up on it a little bit, not much.
Mm-hmm.
But just knowing that, what if that could really happen? In my mind, is like, that would be terrifying to think that you're fighting over your own body with a demon, that trying to just fight over your own body with something else that you can't have no control over. I mean, to me, that's something that's terrifying.
That is a very terrifying thought, to think that you could be lost in a world that you have no conception of. You know, that is a very terrifying feeling, a terrifying thought. But to me, the scariest part of that movie wasn't the demon face. The scariest part was the fucking baby monitor scene.
Oh yes, that.
Where he's like,
Oh.
There's a demon like fighting with the baby over a toy or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like, I want it now.
It's all over the
it says
baby
stuff.
monitor. Yeah, and it's the mother hearing the entire conversation going on over the baby monitor.
Well, yeah, she's downstairs. Like, well, spoilers if you ain't seen it, but she's downstairs unpacking.
Oh, she's playing piano.
No, she's unpacking. They
Is
just
she?
had moved, and the baby's up in her room taking a nap, and she's downstairs unpacking and doing whatnot, and she hears something over the baby monitor, and it's a woman's what it is, but it also has got like a more harsher voice as for a woman.
No, that was a dude. That was a guy.
Was it? I thought it was a woman because it sounded like a woman. Then it sounded like she just got angry, and just you know what I'm saying.
No, I think it was a guy.
But anyways, it talks. It talks through it, and I mean, it gets so creepy. And then she runs up there, And some parts you can easily miss if you don't look at it right, I think that part, or I can't remember if it focuses in on it, but she's standing there behind the baby thing and the curtains or something like that.
Yeah, I've not watched the movie in a while. Like I said, I refuse to watch it.
I do too. It's a movie that
Not
I can remember it every bit in my head myself of what that movie is, and I can't do that hardly with a lot of movies, like from when I was younger that I watched, except some. I guess it gets imprinted in my mind.
Yeah,
and
PTSD.
this did, and I just refused to watch it.
Yeah.
If anybody told me, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to watch this movie, I said, no, I'm sorry.
Keep your money, man.
Keep your money. Thank you. Come again.
But yeah, Insidious. If you've not watched it for any reason, I don't know why you wouldn't have yet.
Watch it. It's a good movie.
Check it out. But all right.
You'll only watch it once, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. I'll go with another one of my favorites, The Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was another movie that I watched when I was real young. I'd say I was probably...
I was about 9.
Well, no, I think I was older than that. I was probably 12.
9, 10. Well, you're only like a year older than me, so...
Yeah. But, and watching the movie now, it's not the best of movies, but it was going back to that time when everyone where found footage was not necessarily a new concept, but it was something that wasn't done very often.
Yeah.
And it kind of started the whole
found
footage craze.
It really did. To me, it did.
To us, it did, because it was the first of
thing
our.
I seen.
Yeah, it was the first of our generation that.
And
really,
they made it so convincing that it was actually real that you would have to be even when I got older, I Googled it. Just to see if it was real, and it wasn't. And I was like, really? But it's...
But yeah, that was the whole thing about it. Is that, it was real. These college kids went into the woods and to film a movie about a witch and ended up being, never being seen again. Mm-hmm. And that was the whole concept. And when you're that young and don't know as much about movies, and you don't know anything about found footage movies,
and you think all the movies are real or based on true stories, something like that,
it's easy to buy into that.
Yeah, to be gullible to that.
Yeah. So it was me and all of my friends and shit, and it was just this crazy, you gotta watch it. So when it first came out, it was so fucking polarizing that everyone had to see it, and it was just this I guess the aura around the whole thing just made it so amazing. It's something that could never be done again. And to me, that's why it's one of my all-time favorites. Not necessarily because of the movie. The movie was good, don't get me wrong. I fucking love that movie. I'll watch that movie today. I'll watch that movie tonight after we get done. But but it's just the feeling of nostalgia that I get watching that movie, or even just reading about it, or even just seeing the images of it, of just me and my friends thinking that this is real, and not just my friends, but everyone around us thought it was real. My parents thought it was real. Everyone thought it was real, and it's like I said, and this was when the internet to us was still new. It was still fresh, and it was just, you couldn't, anything that you did find out on the internet never said anything about it not being real until later on. And there was so much lore and so much backstory behind it with with Rustin Parr and all of that it was so convincing. And to me, that's what made it so fucking great.
Yeah.
And to me, it will always be one of the greatest found footage movie of all time.
Yeah.
All right, you're up.
All right, my second all-time favorite would be Candyman. And the reason why is because I grew up watching this movie. I was about 6, 7 years old when I watched this movie, I think.
Yeah.
But it came out like the same year I was born, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. And so when I first watched it, I was young. I was little. And I was such a chicken growing up. And all my cousins, me and all my cousins, we used to do all that Bloody Mary stuff in the mirror, and like found out that if you squirt dish soap all over your walls, it will, and put a black light in there, it'll glow.
Yeah.
And they scared me to death. They made me believe, I was so gullible. They made me believe that was like blood or something like that, because you couldn't see it. It was clear. It's dish soap, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just something that we always loved spooking ourselves about stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, there's nothing funner.
But the Candyman always gives me that feeling of them. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. But anytime I was in the bathroom with the light out and a mirror was in there, all I thought about was Candyman the whole entire time.
So would you say that it terrified you?
It
Would
was.
you move it up to an S tier, do you think?
It terrified me.
Okay, we'll move it up to an S
I
tier.
remember watching it with my mom, and just Tony Todd. He played the Candyman awesome. He terrified me. He made me have nightmares of the Candyman.
Yeah.
He played him just so well, and there was a new one. Ain't there a new one coming out?
Yeah, there's a new one getting ready to come out. Yeah.
And I'm just going to see how that is. He supposed to be in that one too?
If he is, it's probably just a cameo. They got a new guy playing Candyman.
Do they?
So I don't know.
Well, good luck, new guy. Let's see what happens. I got to see who's playing him. But you know, that movie growing up terrified me to where I couldn't go in the bathroom in the pitch dark.
Yeah.
Could never go in the bathroom in pitch dark. And it's like the story of my cousins. Like, doing that, all I could think about was Candyman the entire time. I did not think about Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
I thought about Candyman.
Yeah.
And they always love getting themselves scared, but they love watching. Everybody around loves making me get embarrassed, because I get embarrassed easy. They like to scare me because I'm very easy to scare. I'm a chicken.
You really are the easiest.
I
to
really
scare.
am. Like, I love that I can play Phasmophobia without freaking out.
Yeah.
But I am a chicken. Like, some nights I'll be coming from the bathroom, and he'll be laying in bed, and he'll hear me, boom, and I'll plop down beside him.
I will feel her jump into bed. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, I'm sorry, I got scared.
So I'm like, oh, please hook up to me, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I do it every time.
Yeah.
Every time. But, you know, it's one of those movies that, like, when I get in the dark now, I still feel that feeling that I feel about Candyman. I'm telling you, it scared me that bad. I mean, just seeing him stand there and with the hook as his hand, one of his hands, and the bees come out of his mouth, and the bees, the bees. And and the poor woman just trying her best to get away from him. And I remember that one. I can't remember what part that one was, but
I'm pretty sure it was the first one, yeah.
she just, I don't know why, but it's just so scary.
Yeah. I remember watching Candyman when I was probably, I was a little bit older with it too. I'd say probably 10.
Mm-hmm. My mom started me.
Yeah, I would say 10.
My mom started me and my siblings out, and my nephews out at a young age.
Oh, yeah. I watched a lot of horror movies from a young age.
That's all she watches. She's a big horror fan, and she has put that on all of us. Anytime my brother gets a chance, he'll say, Mom, let's go watch a scary movie together, because he's the same way. We all love watching. Even my dad was. My dad was the same way.
Yeah.
Just scary all around.
Yeah. But, yeah, I watched a lot of horror movies from a young age as well, but Candyman was just one of those ones that I never watched until I had gotten a little bit older.
I would watch it as a kid. If you could, man, I wish you could have watched it as a kid, because it was terrifying.
Well, I'd say 10 is still a kid. You know, that's still pretty young.
But you don't have that.
No. It was
more innocent as a 6-7-year-old than you do a 10, because you start changing about them ages.
True, you're right.
You ain't got that fear as a little kid, because you're like, I'm not little no more.
We were scared to death, because it was me and two of my younger cousins. We watched it. They came in from out of town,
mm-hmm.
and we were supposed to. We had a bonfire, and we were supposed to go, because it was the middle of summer.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a bonfire, and we were supposed to go out camping in the yard with a tent.
I've done it.
And And we was like, okay, we'll watch some scary movies and then we'll go out here and sleep in the yard.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we watched Candyman. That was what we watched. And we ended up not sleeping in the yard that night.
Well, I got the exact... Okay. Growing up, when my mom and dad was still together, my dad had built the porch. You've seen the porch on my mom's house.
Yeah.
Well, before it wasn't fully all the way done.
Yeah.
You know, the deck was longer than the roof. The roof was just over the door.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's still work in progress. Well, me and my brother got us a tent. It was before my little brother was born. And we took the tent outside, set it up on the porch, up under the sky area where there was no roof.
Yeah.
God, you know, we just had, I think, because we had taken our TV out there and taken, like, game consoles out there, but we had just watched Jason X.
Mm-hmm.
People says that's a crappy movie, but me, in my opinion, I love the movie. It was neat. It was something different. To me, it was more like of a comedy than it was a horror movie.
Most definitely.
It was fun, you know, and I mean, we just had watched that, but we was younger. I say my brother was about 10. I was probably about 7.
Yeah.
I was about 7.
Yeah.
And we went out there and we zipped to the tent. We told Mom good night, and she said, okay, she's want to keep the door unlocked, so if we get scared, we can come back in. And, well, we got out there, we was playing our game, you know, not bothering a soul. We start scaring ourselves, thinking Jason's outside our tent and he's going to get us. And we freaked out, and we ran back in the house.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
Oh, yeah, did I mention we left everything in the tent? We didn't take the TV in or the game consoles. We left
everything out there till the next morning?
For, if anybody wanted it, they could have came got it. I mean, we just left.
Yeah.
We locked the door behind us. We went to bed. We slept back to back. We was not letting nothing get neither of us.
I don't blame you on that one. I really don't. All right, so we'll move on to what's one of my next favorites. And there's been a lot of shit on this movie. Like, people shit on this movie really bad. That's My Soul to Take. So it's a Wes Craven movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a bunch of kids. I don't remember how many kids it was. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. A bunch of kids were all born on the same night. And that was a night that a guy from the town killed his... Was it his wife? He killed his whole family or something like that? But he let the two kids live. Well, he was killed before the two kids, before he could kill the two kids.
It's got something to do, like, some kind of, like...
He was possessed by...
Yeah, he's possessed by, like, there was a dagger. I think it's a dagger.
Yeah, it's a dagger.
And once you touch it, you get possessed by it, and he...
No.
That's not how it works?
No.
How did it work, then?
Okay, so the kids were all born on the night that he died.
Yes.
And his soul supposedly went into one of the kids.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And so throughout the movie, they're trying to figure out who has the soul of the serial killer.
Yeah.
And they think that it's his son.
Yeah.
And it turns out not to be. But such a good fucking movie. I love the concept of that movie. And... people shit on it.
Oh,
hard.
I loved it. I can watch it over and over again. I love that movie.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie.
Because to me, I feel like I noticed different things in it that more like you can find more of like little hints of things in it. And you're like, oh, you know, you find something new out every time you watch it. But I like it. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put it in A tier though. I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorite movies, but I wouldn't say that it's up there with my favorite movies.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Especially for the fact that people shit on it so hard. That makes me like it even that much more. But, all right. That's pretty much all I got to say about that one, though.
Okay.
You're next.
Now, this one I am going to put right here on the A tier because it was a movie. It wasn't as scary as Candyman or Insidious to me. It was a movie that it was scary. It was a really good horror movie to me. in the not in the American version.
Hold on. Let me change my mind on that. Fuck that shit. No, I'm putting that in an A tier.
Okay. The American version, like the commercials hyped it up and made it seem like it was going to be something terrifying.
The American version?
Yeah, the American version. But the Japan version,
the Japanese version?
Yeah, Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
It is like all the commercial, like in the. I'm sorry if you've not seen it. Spoiler alert, but a lot of people should have seen it. It's an older movie. It came out like in the early 2000s.
And you're referring to the Japanese version as your favorite, not the American version.
Not the American. The American, they showed commercials and advertisement of a woman floating over this woman's body and all this and that. Come to find out, after I watched the Ju-on version that was in the actual movie, they took scenes from the Japanese version
and put it in
the trailers of the American version. And I was like, really? After I watched it, I seen all that I seen in the previews for the American was in the Japanese version.
Yeah.
And it's so much more scary to me. It makes it more terrifying to watch the actual where it originates at. Because they make it, I love their horror. They make their horror so good. I don't know why.
A lot of countries outside of the United States do. A lot of U.S. movies are dulled down.
Yeah.
For U.S. audiences.
Yeah.
So when you watch a lot of different foreign horror movies, they are a lot scarier.
Oh, this one right here. I mean, it showed everything that I was expecting with the first Grudge, the American Grudge, to show. It's so much better. There ain't no doubt about it that the Japanese version is better than the American version.
Yeah.
The American version just hyped it up so much, and I couldn't wait to watch it. When I watched it, yeah, I got scared of it, but when I watched
the Japanese
version, I was scared. I was more terrified of it. I would wake up, I wouldn't say terrified because, I have got other movies that's terrified me more. But it would scare me so bad, like if I woke up, I would look above me straight away because I was so scared that there was going to be that girl floating above me, like, how she does. And it was just something that I'm still scared to, of this day, I will admit, that my feet's got to be covered up. I always said I breathe out of my feet because my feet always had to have up, out from under the covers.
Yeah.
But since watching that, my feet stays tucked. I do not let my feet get outside the cover because I'm afraid that little boy's going to be sitting there grabbing my feet or tickling my toes. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just don't want it. Yeah. So the Japanese version, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
But yeah, they do that with a lot of, not even horror movies, but just a lot of foreign movies. If there's an American remake, it's never as good. Take Martyrs. If you've ever watched the movie Martyrs, watch the French version. Do not watch the American version. I've yet to watch the American version just because I heard that they changed the ending. The ending, which I know you've not seen Martyrs.
Oh no, yeah.
I watched Martyrs on my own time. She's not into those kind of movies, but the ending to Martyrs, the French version, is what makes the entire movie. If you've never seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is. But the ending makes that fucking movie. It's what makes that movie so good. So to change that is ruining the entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's no reason to watch it.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They ruined it. They changed it because they didn't think that an American audience could handle such bleakness.
Yeah.
They wanted to give a sense of hope. And that just completely ruined the entire movie.
Yeah.
So, alright, we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
So, let's see here. So, yeah, another tier A for me is Cabin in the Woods.
Really?
I love Cabin in the Woods.
I saw bits and pieces of it. I couldn't get into it, so I was like, yeah.
Which I understand that. I understand not being able to get into it. But, so the movie starts out like any other fucking teens in a cabin in the woods,
Partying it up.
Getting that
reefer.
and getting ready to get slaughtered.
Jesus.
But what it turns into is completely fucking different. It's completely different than anything you've ever seen in a horror movie, and that is there's an organization behind all of this shit that is sacrificing these young teens to ancient gods, and they're doing it in multiple different ways. Like theirs was, they have serial killers, they have ghosts, they have fucking mermaids, like yeah, like there's all kinds of just crazy shit to it. And so you have like your standard slasher horror teen movies, and that's exactly what you think it's gonna be, but then it just turns out to be this completely over the top thing. And it's not so much of, I mean, yes, it is a horror movie in the sense of a slasher flick, and there are these teens that are trying to escape being murdered and shit like that, but it's also at its core it's a comedy.
Really?
It's fucking hilarious. There's so many parts that's hilarious, and I'm trying my best not to spoil it.
Don't no. Yeah, because we've.
I will explain the concept. I did explain the concept quite a bit, but I'm not really going to go into too many details and ruin it for anybody who's not watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've not watched Cabin in the Woods, fucking watch it. It's definitely worth a watch, because it's not like anything else you'll ever see.
Yeah.
All right, your next one.
All right, my next one I gotta say is I love this movie. It didn't terrify me, but I had to put it in tier A too.
Yeah.
I mean, 13 Ghosts, Matthew Lillard. Oh my God, that movie, just knowing that they're there and they're trapped, and the only way you can see them is with your glasses on, and certain like high tech glasses, and just I know even in one part the girls, you see a boobie, a boobie,
Oh, yeah,
but in my mind,
you see some ghost titties.
in my mind when I was a kid, when I saw that, usually a kid's like, oh my God, there's a boob. I was just like, oh my God.
That boob's
oh my
coming
God,
to get me.
She gonna get me. She gonna get me.
That tit's gonna take me out.
No, nothing about the boob. I was just like, oh my God, she gonna get me. She scared me the most. I don't know if maybe I just don't want to deal with somebody naked. I just don't come at me if you're naked. But I don't know, but she creeped me out the most.
Yeah.
And I mean, seeing that as a kid, I was about 12 when I seen that movie, I think.
Yeah.
I was a little bit older.
I was about 12 or 13, yeah.
Yeah, I was older when I watched it, and it was just a good movie. I mean, every bit of it was just, it's a neat movie. I can't crap on it. I can't, people will got their other opinion, your own opinion, but to me, it was a really good movie. I mean, it was something different. It was something, I mean, I ain't seen them, I can't think of movies that they made like out of a ghost.
So basically, if you've not watched the movie, what the movie's about.
Oh yeah, what the movie's about is that it's called 13 Ghosts. And like they're supposed to be like the most deadliest ghosts or something like that.
Well, it's this family that I know it's a single father and I think 2 kids.
Yeah.
They move into this new house. Or I can't remember, were they given the house by somebody? They were left the house?
Yeah, I think it was an inheritance of a house.
Yeah,
I think they got
they
inheritance.
inherited the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened is that, they're checking out the house, and then like of a nighttime for some reason, like don't it shut down or something like that? Like everything closes around it.
I don't remember if the electric went out or
Something happened and the whole place shuts down because it's like mostly made out of glass. Everything's glass. Yeah. The walls are glass. I mean,
the person who owned the house last, I don't know if it was like the dude's grandfather.
It was something like that.
A distant relative. Mm-hmm. They trapped ghosts.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the most furious ghost or something like that, and they doing some kind of research. The guy was really into trying to figure out, I guess, ghost. Yeah. Period. Yeah. And Matthew Lillard comes in and he has something to do with it. I think he's trying.
He's a ghost hunter or some shit.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I can't remember exactly what he was, but he's in it, and I think he played the part great. He played his part really good, and they come to find out like that there's some kind of really super tech glasses that you can wear that you can see the ghosts, because the little boy gets down into the basement or down in the below area where the ghosts are all kept in all the glass. It's like a big glass maze. Mm-hmm. And he gets in. he gets down there and he's riding a scooter and stuff, and he smacks the window, the glass and all that. He's hitting it, and he comes back out, and he never thinks nothing of it, but he does see
the woman.
I don't know if it was the naked woman or if it's the woman. I think there's one with a veil on too, or something. There's something like that.
There's one that's got a thing over its head.
I think she's got a bag.
No, it's like a metal.
Oh yeah, it's something like a jigsaw thing, over their head, but it's like the actual box.
Like a metal box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can see her, I guess, because he's younger.
I don't remember.
Or maybe he found the glasses down there, because I don't know, but they put on these glasses, and all around them are all these ghosts. I mean, there's so different ones. There's 13. And they're all around them, and I mean, it's such a good movie. I mean, you got to watch it. It's hard for me to explain it, but it's a really good movie.
It is.
If you like Ghost, if you like Matthew Lillard, go watch it. I mean, it's a great movie.
Yeah, if you like Matthew Lillard, watch the movie.
I love him. He's such a good actor.
I do too. I like Matthew.
He can play from a crazy psycho to just a fun-loving guy. I mean, he's such a great actor.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got one more good one.
Yes, I do.
So
Final Destination 2.
Final Destination 2. I would say that that's a good one too. I would say that is the best in the Final Destination franchise.
Yeah. It just I have really bad dental anxiety from this movie. The boy getting his teeth worked on, the outlet getting wet by the fish tank or something like that. I mean,
oh yeah.
And then the glass. I'm spoiling it for some parts, and the glass falling and dropping on him. I'm just like, and the log
truck. The log truck is what, to this day, I fucking hate driving behind the log trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got me.
That movie, that has stuck with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my mom, she's like, I hate driving behind them. She will slow down and pull off the side of the road and let it get further away from us when we was younger. And she wouldn't drive behind it. She just wouldn't, because that movie terrified everybody.
Yeah.
My brother, I mean, all of us.
Yeah.
Just imagine that coming off and hitting you and killing you. And
so basically, the Final Destination franchise, if you've never watched any of the Final Destination movies, which I find that hard to believe, but if you've not watched any of them, basically it's about one character in the movie, because it's an anthology movie, so each movie is different, has different characters.
Yeah.
Except for, I think in the last one, one of the characters from the original one comes back.
Yep.
I think. I'm not sure, but either way, it's an anthology movie, and a bunch of characters are in a certain place, and they experience a near-death experience, and the main character sees the actual death experience take place, but it's a vision. It's not real.
Yeah.
So they end up making a big scene and causing so many people to leave, and those are people who basically cheated death, because the situation does play out and people do die, but the characters that
and it's some gruesome deaths too.
Yeah, but the characters that follows the main character out, and they're like, fuck this, what's going on, we got to check to see what's going on with her, what's she talking about. They basically they're not in the situation when the situation occurs, when the people do die. So they cheat death, they escape death.
Yeah.
And death wants them, so he comes for them, and they end up dying in
it's a vicious circle,
gruesome fucking ways.
Yes, some very.
And in Final Destination 2,
oh yeah, Final Destination 2, there's another part in it too, if you can remember, about another log truck, about the spears, the poles, it was
PVC pipes.
Yes. Yeah. They have another one. I mean, it just, part 2 had the log truck incident. I mean, and one girl gets she thinks she cheated to death, but she's stuck, and a PVC pipe went straight through her head.
Yeah.
Okay, she didn't cheat. And the boy with the, his mom takes him to the dentist and starts having all kinds of experience go on. Death is coming for him. He thinks he cheated death. He thought he got out. He did not. Big glass falls on top of him because they're rebuilding the building.
But they were all supposed to die
in
log truck incident.
Was it?
Logs start to fall off of the log truck while on a main highway, and it causes a huge crash.
A huge pileup. There's like so many, like, was like 20 something pileup or something like that.
I don't remember.
It was a pileup, and the girl that sees it, or the boy, which one is it? Is it a girl this time?
Sees it. Yeah.
The girl sees it, and she don't let her friends go. And
there's other people that follow her off of the road.
Yeah, and follow her off the road. But her friends, like, she gets out of the vehicle, her friends go ahead and go on. Them friends get killed. But all the people that's in line with her, that gets out to check on her because she's freaking out,
they survive.
They survive
that.
And then death comes for each one of them, one by one.
Yeah.
And everyone that dies, I mean, it's...
Everyone that should have died does die.
And, like, there's one part with the elevator that where, I think it's a dog that gets stuck. Something happens, and the elevator, like, cuts them in two.
I remember.
I mean, wasn't Jeff Goldblum in that one? He was, wasn't he?
Was Jeff Goldblum in it?
Oh, I'm going to see. We're doing this live, so keep it. Okay.
I don't know if he was or not.
I think he's the one that witnessed the guy in the elevator get killed.
Really?
I think so. Hold on, wait.
But yeah, part 1 was a plane crash. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure. And part 2 was the log truck.
And part 3 was the roller coaster.
Was the roller coaster, yeah. And what was part 4?
Part 4?
Yeah.
Part 4, which one? Was that the one? No, part 5 was where she's going. He stops her from getting on the plane. Was
there 5 of them?
There's 5.
Holy shit.
5 of them.
Really?
Oh, and also, too, Tony Todd played in it as the morgue keeper, I believe.
He did.
I think he was the morgue keeper.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I think he's in all of them as the morgue keeper. He's death.
He's death personified.
Yeah.
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 I'm pretty sure.
All right, let me see here, because I'm pretty sure. No, Terrence C. Carson. That's who it is, not Jeff Goldblum. They remind me of each other because they wear them glasses and they're all, they're all fancied up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one I think witnesses the woman in the elevator gets cut in two.
Okay.
And I believe he's in the corner when it opens. He's like, ah, and he's got blood all over him.
Really?
And yeah, I think that's how it happens. But it's just ways that you're like, now that I'm older, I look at ways and I'm like, let's take the stairs. I hate taking an elevator. Because, it just,
it just sticks with you.
It's things that could really happen to you every day is why.
It's mundane things made dangerous. And when you think about it, they really are, to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's one slip of something could mess up the whole,
yeah.
Could mess it up. And that movie gets it.
That movie plays on those fears.
It does, and it makes it, go check them all out. They're really good movies. Really good movies.
I wouldn't say all of them are. 1 and 2 are the best.
Yeah, number 2 is my favorite.
Number 2 is my favorite. 1's good too, though.
Yeah, but still though, they're decent movies.
They are. They're good.
But number 2 is the best to me. Number 2 is, but the other ones they're okay too. Part 3 is a little, it's a little.
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
It's a little shitty.
It's a little crappy.
Yeah.
But it's still okay. It's a decent movie. But if you want to check them out, check them out. It won't hurt.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some not so good movies.
Okay.
Movies that the general public may have liked or disliked, but we personally do not like.
Yeah.
And this first one is hard for me. It's really hard for me to say that I do not like this movie, and that's Lords of Salem.
Oh.
The reason why it's hard for me to say that I don't like it is because I fucking love Rob Zombie movies.
Oh, yeah.
I loved his Halloween movies. I loved the
Devil's Reject, all
the
them.
Butterfly, Devil's Rejects, The House of a Thousand Corpses, Three from Hell. I loved all of those movies. Like, I loved everything that Rob Zombie put out up until Lords of Salem. Mm-hmm. If you've never watched Lords of Salem, it's so fucking hard to explain. It's like, okay, so it's Rob Zombie's wife. It's what's her name? Sherry Moon.
Yeah.
Zombie. She's, I don't even fucking know. I've only watched the movie once, but this I guess it's a record. A record is delivered to a DJ place, and I think she's a DJ, or maybe not. I don't remember. But either way, so the movie is basically, it's just 100% blasphemy. Which blasphemy, I can handle blasphemy if it's in a good movie, but if it's just nothing but fuck Christianity and all this shit. It's lay off. Like, that shit's fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
let people believe what they want to believe and whatever. But if it's just plain blasphemy, just for the sake of blasphemy, it's not interesting.
Yeah.
Not to me. It's boring as shit.
Well, you don't know my opinion. I wouldn't watch it.
Yeah. But I think it's just a terrible fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing to it that's scary. There's nothing to it that's has any substance at all. It's just all fucking garbage.
Yeah.
And it's so sad to say, because I fucking love Rob Zombie and I love everything Rob Zombie. I love all of his movies.
Yeah.
So to say that movie is so terrible, it's sad.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion on that one. So you're up.
All right, my next one
Cloverfield.
is the first Cloverfield. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's just a movie that I don't know. It was overhyped, and you know, at first when I saw the previews, I wanted to watch it, but when I actually got into it and watched the movies and learned that, you know, there's a movie similar to it called what's that Tom Cruise movie? What is that movie?
Tom Cruise movie.
Tom Cruise movie.
What's it about?
I'll tell you. I'll explain it to you. Let me make sure it's a Tom Cruise movie.
Oh, are you talking about War of the Worlds?
Give me just a second.
Because that was a remake with Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah, War of the Worlds. Yeah. I mean, it's so much, if you think about it.
Not really, because,
It's
I mean,
kind of...
Cloverfield's not really an alien. Like, it's not...
What is it then?
Okay, so I'll explain it.
Okay.
And this is my interpretation of it.
Okay.
From what I've seen and what I've read and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whale, maybe?
It's a whale?
Well, it's some type of sea creature. Because if you watch the movie, if you watch the end of the movie, where it cuts from all the bad shit happening around him, and it's just him and his girlfriend kind of fucking holding each other before all of that happened.
Yeah.
You can see in the background, you can see something falling into the ocean. And it's like a satellite or something, and it fell into the ocean, and it caused radioactivity, and it caused this, I guess, a whale, some type of normal sea animal to mutate.
Oh, well, to me, it's alien-like.
I mean,
to me.
it is alien-like, yes.
And I mean, it was a stupid movie. They hyped it up, made it seem like it was going to be like a really good movie. And once I watching it, the graphics was even crappy then. I mean, to me, it was just, and the camera was so movie, and it was so crappy put together.
It was a found footage movie.
Oh, was it? It was a sucky. It was all.
I will agree that even though it was found footage, the camera was so fucking shaky, and it was bad.
Oh my god, you couldn't even see half the time what was going on. I couldn't even tell who was who that much, because they would move so much, and I was tired of watching it, because it was just it was everywhere.
It'll make you sick to your stomach.
Yes, it was. And part 2 is the actual movie.
Part 2's good,
and part 2 is actually very good.
10 Cloverfield Lane, which it's
they say it's supposed to be
kind of a sequel.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot better than the first one. The first one it's too shaky, it's too jumbled together, and it's just too much. And it's just a horrible film, I think. It's just stupid.
I'll agree with you that it's bad.
It is. It's trash.
I don't agree with you that it's that bad.
Yeah, it's sucky.
So, do I have the ability to take that from a D to a C? Since I don't agree that much?
No, that's mine. Pick your own, bro.
No, I get that it's yours. But, you know, we also had Insidious together and stuff like that we agree on. So if we disagree, can I take that from a D to a C?
I guess you can.
I can? Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, so I will take it from a D to a C. Just because I don't think it's that terrible. Like, yes, it's not the best. And yes, found footage can be done so much better.
It was too much. You get somebody's eyebrow in one part, and then another part you'll get like half their cheek moving as they're talking. And I mean, it's a movie
but
that
I mean, that's also what's supposed to make it realistic, because if you're...
But they overdid it. They overdid it to a point where it's like, okay, this is so stupid. Why am I sitting here watching these people run around like crazy when nothing's really... I mean, it was just that feel. But if they didn't overdo it, it might have been good. But they overdid it too much.
But if you want to go super realistic, there wouldn't be any movie at all.
Exactly.
Because if some shit goes out, I'm dropping the fucking camera.
Exactly.
I'm not recording this shit.
All right.
All right, so I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with one we both agree on, and I'm gonna say Paranormal Activity.
Number 1 was okay. It was okay. If they left it at number 1, it would have been okay.
Do
but,
you want to move that up to a C then?
Yeah, you can move it up to a C. I mean, it's still stupid.
To me, it's a D. But if you want to move it up to a C, I'll allow it.
One's fine. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 800,000, I don't care how many they are, they beat it. They killed it out. I mean, the first one seemed so believable. When it came out, I was in high school.
Yeah.
We watched it at school, and it seemed so real. So real. And you really couldn't find out much about it. Like, it was still, the internet was doing good at the time, you know what I'm saying? It was...
Oh, yeah, the internet was booming at that point.
Yeah, but you really couldn't find too much about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, they made it seem so real. But when you went on to number 2 about the... Was number 2 about the friend Tony?
I'm going to be honest with you. I stopped watching after the first one. I watched the first one.
You tried to watch the part 2 to it, and we couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's why. That's why I didn't watch any of them.
But, I mean, the first one, it gave you that thrill of like, ooh, there's a ghost, you know, but...
Did it turn out to not even be ghost? Wasn't it like aliens?
No, it was ghost. It was a demon. The demon's been around her whole life.
Was it a demon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It followed her whole life, you know, having just that little bit of backstory and all that. And,
well, that shows you how much I know about it.
Yeah, well, it made it seem so like, okay, this might be real. But when they started making 2 and making 3 and keep going, it was just like, you had me at the first one. But you kept going and you just made it so much. Because it always came back to, was her name Kelly?
I have no idea.
I can't remember her name. But it always came back to Mika. Yeah, Mika. Was that her name?
No, Mika was the guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mika was her boyfriend. And I think Kelly was her name, wasn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember her name.
She, it always came back, Katie. Katie was her name. Mika
yes,
and Katie.
It was Katie. Yeah.
And it always came back to her. Somehow in one of the movies. Like, I'm guessing, but anytime you see a preview, it always came back to her on the preview.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but somehow... I don't know.
She was the one, wasn't she?
She was the one that followed around her whole life. But, I mean, they killed it out. The first one's all you needed. Keep going. It just gets tired. It gets, ugh.
Yeah, I do suggest if you're going to watch any of them, watch the first one.
Just watch the first one, because the first one gives you more thrill than the other ones, I think.
But I can't recommend you watching any. And that's just me. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the next one that I'm going to pull out...
And I agree with him.
...is a newer remake. I don't know about remake, but The Craft Legacy.
Oh my gosh, it was just... The older one was great. I loved it.
Loved the first one.
Did you? I loved it. It was such a good one.
The first one I watched when I was, probably 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it.
Oh, I did too.
I love anything about witches.
Yeah.
Anything about witches and witchcraft and shit like that. I love it. Absolutely. So yeah, I watched the first one, the original, and it was to this day it's a great movie of mine.
It is.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, one of my favorites also.
I didn't include it in this list because I wouldn't put it up there with my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It's still a good movie.
It's a damn good movie. And so yeah, if you've not watched the original Craft, watch it.
Watch it. It's very good.
Do not watch this piece of shit.
No, this movie was like an hour and like 40 minutes long. It was like an hour and something.
And I was excited for it.
I was too. We was tickled because the previews, again.
The previews looked good.
Previews made it look good. Well, we watched it, and like it seemed like through the whole hour and something that the movie was going on, they only talked for maybe a total of 20 minutes through the whole movie. I mean, there wasn't much talking. There was more of, I mean, they wasn't...
I mean, I don't know teenagers these days, but I'm sure they talk a little more than that.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't talk much. It was mostly eyes, and it was... It was a horrible remake. A horrible remake.
And so cringy. Like, there is so much cringe in that fucking movie.
There is.
And I'm not going to go over it, but... And it's pretty much the same concept...
Of the first one.
A new girl
But it's like
new friends.
it's pretty much more like
they need a witch.
Yes.
She falls in love with a boy, and the boy ends up dying. It's all that fucking shit.
Yeah, I know it was set in the more
modern time.
More modern times, but I mean the older one, it was so much better. It had more to it. It had more detail feel to it. It like this right here. It just let's remake it. Let's see.
And the acting was a hell of a lot better.
God, the acting was great in the first one. This one right here, I mean, it sucks.
The only part that I liked about this movie, that I genuinely liked, was the ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the ending because don't watch this piece of shit. She turns out to be the daughter of the what's
it's the
her
girl
name?
who plays in Scream. What's her name?
Well, she played in the first one. She was the short-haired witch in the first one.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What's her name? Her name is a nightmare. Firuza Balk. So I was right about the Balk part. But yeah, either way, it's
her daughter.
It's her daughter off of the original one.
Yeah.
And she's in a mental institute, and she's kind of locked herself up.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I liked. I liked that they brought her back.
Yeah.
But that was it. That's
it.
the only part of that entire movie that I said.
But the rest of it,
hey, it's pretty cool.
I wouldn't waste an hour and something on it again because it was just.
You're not gonna get that hour and a half back.
No, it was such a crappy movie.
Yeah, it was terrible. But
if I could go back and like fast forward to the end, just see the end, I would. But the rest of it, I wouldn't.
Yeah, fuck that movie. All right.
Yeah. All right. My next. Okay, I have to put. Going with The Grudge, but I'm going with the remake of
the new one,
the newest one,
the 2021.
No, it wasn't 2021. No, it was like 2019 or 2020.
No. It's definitely 2020.
Yeah, it was like a just recent remake of The Grudge.
With the dude from Harold and Kumar. What's his name?
I always forget. I suck at names. Like I know their faces, but I can't.
Yeah, when they said that, when the preview showed that he was going to be in it, I was excited because I fucking love
2020
him.
When it came out.
2020, so I was right. Well, we were both.
John Cho.
Ah, yeah, John Cho.
Love him.
Yeah, I fucking love anything that he's in. I will watch it just because I fucking love Harold and Kumar.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
definitely.
So we watched The Grudge not that long ago.
Yeah, we watched it. I was really wanting to check it out. I was okay. Let me see this one. This is a remake. It might be different. It might be better. Because he's in it. John Cho's in it, and I was like, love him. Got to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, same thing with this movie. This movie went for like an hour and something too, and there was like only 20 minutes of talking. It didn't have no really build up to the climax. There wasn't really a good climax at all, and it was a very flatlined movie.
Yeah, it definitely fell flat.
It fell straight through.
And it had the woman from Insidious in it. What's her name? I don't remember her name, but either way, she was in it, and she's a great actor. I fucking love her too.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about now. What's her name?
The older woman.
Oh my God! Oh, I love her. What's her name? Lynn Shay.
Lynn Shay.
Lynn Shay.
Lynn Shay is in it, and
she made Insidious really good too, because she's in it. Just spoiler alert: she is in that movie, and she is so cool.
Yeah. And she was the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
She was the best part of The Grudge.
Mm-hmm.
John Cho was good, but his acting kind of fell flat too.
It wasn't because of him. I think it's just because of the movie, the script. It just fell through.
Yeah, the script wasn't very good. But
No.
Lynn Shay, man, she fucking rocked that part.
Yeah.
I will say that.
She's a total bad A when it comes to this paranormal crap.
Yeah. she really rocked her part. But the movie itself is just...
It's a flat movie. It's not no count. It's not. My personal opinion, it is.
Yeah, my personal opinion, it's... Yeah.
This is just all our personal opinion. I mean, it just...
So yeah, if you like the movie, cool.
Yeah, cool.
Good for you. I'm glad
I'm glad you do, yeah, because it needs some reviews.
But yeah, if you like any of these movies that we're shitting on, this is just our personal opinion.
Yeah, just ours.
Not meaning to offend you.
This is for fun. We're just talking about our own personal, opinions.
This is not a personal attack. We're just giving our personal opinions.
Yeah.
And if you like them, cool. Awesome. I'm glad that you do. Not everybody likes the same shit.
No, everybody's got something different they like.
But in our personal opinion, it's just a shitty movie.
Yeah, it's not what it should have been.
Not at all. But I'll go to my next one. And this one may be a little controversial. But the Babadook.
Oh, I watched it too. I didn't.
So...
It had that thriller feel to it to me.
I just hate this movie. I absolutely hate this movie for multiple reasons. For number one, the marketing. They marketed this movie as a monster movie, as a ghost movie, you know? And that's just not what it is. I mean, yes, there is a type of ghost in it, but in reality, the movie is... It's one of those movies that, oh, we're the real monsters. You know?
Yeah.
The real monster is us. And it's fine that they made a movie about that not being able to connect with your child and not on an emotional level and stuff. Because I understand that there are people out there that feel that way. And this movie was marketed in a way that it was a monster movie. It was marketed in a way that it was a movie about...
like an actual monster.
About a ghost, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact that the marketing team really bypassed what the entire movie was about just made me say fuck this.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's a twist. The entire movie is about her dealing with those feelings for her child. So it's not like, oh, it's, you know, it's a twist at the end of it. No, that's what the entire movie's about.
Yes.
So the fact that they completely shied away from that in the previews and in the trailers and in interviews and shit like that, it just kind of pissed me off. It made me say, why?
Well, I remember when
because if I knew that was what the movie was about, I wouldn't have watched it.
Well, I remember
or I would have expected it.
I remember the night you watching it, and I remember sitting there. I had my feet propped up on you. I remember I was on the computer or something. I was doing something, and I remember you watched it. And when you finally found out what the real movie, what it was about, I remember seeing your whole demeanor actually change.
Because I was excited.
You was like, "F this!" You could tell it in your face. You could tell in your face that you was like, "I really." Like, it brought you down. Like, no way.
Because I was so excited to watch the movie because it looked fucking good. The creature looked good. Like, everything about it looked so good. And that's probably why I'm so hard on this movie, is because of the way that it made me feel, of the way that it pissed me off, just because of the whole marketing campaign. That's probably the reason why I'm so hard on the movie. But, and then, because it had me so hyped for a new ghost movie, you know?
Yeah.
And it just wasn't that. And that's fine, you know? It's fine that that's what the movie is. But let everybody know that that's what the movie is. Don't shy away from that, and don't get people to watch it expecting something else.
Yeah.
Tell what the movie is. Because, I would understand if it was a twist at the end, but it's not a twist.
Yeah.
It's throughout the whole movie. It's you know it the whole time that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with her inner demons, not an actual demon.
Yeah.
With her inner demons.
You know what that movie reminds me of is Among the Sleep game.
Yeah, the game. Yeah.
It's like that. The father is the Babadook in it because
but it's seen from the child's eyes.
Yeah, seen from the baby's eyes, and you play as the baby, and you figure out what's going on. You got a teddy bear that helps you. But if you look at the Babadook, the way he's drawn for the movie and from that game, long black trench coat, top hat, no hat. That's how it is in Among the Sleep as well.
It is, yeah. But yeah,
the dad's got a drinking problem in the game, if you don't know. But the little baby, you go through the child's eyes and see how it takes a toll on your mother, how your father left you, and your poor mother is just going into a bad depression. And it's a good game. Love the game. Watched it 1,000 times. Never played it, but I've watched it.
Yeah.
Love the game. But it's the same thing as the Babadook, just different.
Yeah. But okay, enough with that one.
And yeah,
we'll leave that one there.
Yeah.
All right, yours is next.
I got to hit you with something else because it's something like the Babadook too. It Follows. I wouldn't put it as a C.
You put it as a D?
I would put it as a D. Or no, I'll put it as a C. I want it as a C.
A C?
Because it's an okay movie. It gives you that suspense, that thrill, like, ooh, it gives you that feel.
Yeah.
But the movie's really about an STD. It's the concept of an STD. It's okay. Blonde-headed girl at the beginning of the movie. She does it with a guy. Something happens. It follows.
Yeah.
It never shows what it is. It never shows because it usually gets in somebody else's body.
Well, it's like a parasite, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, exactly what you said. It's an STD.
But it's a STD is what it is. They make it seem like it's, because it gives you the thriller feel, because you're like, ooh, but after you watch it,
because there are parts that will fucking jump scare the shit out of you.
It'll scare you to death. But when you watch it, after you watch it, you'll be like, this is about a STD. Everybody knows about how bad they are. Everybody knows to be careful. But did you really have to go make this horror movie about an STD?
I mean,
like why? Why did you do that? It follows. So this is what happens. The girl has sex with the guy. She gets it. Well, it follows.
Something's trying to kill her.
Something's trying to follow her and kill her.
So she's got to have sex with somebody else
to pass it on to them.
And they end up dying.
And they ended up dying. I mean, it's the most stupidest thing ever. Because I mean, that's the only way you can get rid of it is if you have sex with the person. And it
passes it on to them. So the person that you just fucked is now going to get fucked, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
But what happens after that? Like, it comes back to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because at the main end of the movie, I'll just go ahead and tell you, at the main end, she thinks it's over. Her and this guy gets together or something like that. They're walking at the main end.
And she starts seeing it.
And no, she's walking. They're not paying attention. She thinks it's finally over. Well, I think as the camera pans up or off above them, you can see this little old woman with the look of everybody's face that the thing has possessed or whatever it is to come kill her is in the woman, and it's following her to go kill her.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, we didn't need it's not a horror movie. We didn't need a movie like this about STDs. We just did not.
No, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that 100%.
I mean, it just, why? What?
Everyone knows to be careful.
Everybody.
If you don't know to be careful, then step out from under the rock, dude. Come on. But yeah, I'll agree.
It was a movie that shit. Because when you see the previews and stuff, and it follows, you think of a monster or something like that. You think of something, but when you watch it, you're like, okay, so she has to have sex with this guy to get rid of it. Oh God, she just had sex with him. And then like 2 seconds later, she's having sex with somebody else, and she's in a pool trying to kill it, and it's just so stupid. Just watch it.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
And the guy she falls in love with, she don't want to fool with because she don't want him to kill and want him to die. But she finally gives in. They sleep together, and it's after him, so she's trying to kill it before it can kill him.
Doesn't he die?
I'm not for sure if he does.
I don't remember. I do remember that being after watching it, the realization that this is just a movie about STDs. kind of sets in, and then you're like, really?
Yeah, and you're like,
I mean, come on.
It could have been so much better.
It could have been. But, all right, we'll keep that one short. We'll move on to the next one. Then that one's yours too.
The Village. Sorry, what's up with the porcupines? I don't understand it.
Okay. All right, where are you putting it at? Are you putting it at a C?
I'm putting it at a D.
Don't put it at a D. Okay.
Well, if you like it, remember that's how we was doing it.
Hold on, because if you're putting it at a C, I'm going to bring it all the way up to a B. Because
hit me with the facts there, darling.
I genuinely like this movie. I think that this is one of M. Night Shyamalan's best fucking movies. I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite movies, but it is a good movie for what it is. And once again, they did the same thing where the marketing was off. They shouldn't have marketed it as a monster movie. Because it's another thing where we are the monsters.
Yeah, because ain't they like a village where it's back in the old time, but on the highway it's normal? They're like a cult.
So, yes, kind of.
Something like that.
So what happened was...
Don't like it.
So they... so it's a community that kind of went off on their own, and it's the whole...
No electric, no nothing like that.
Like the whole first half of the movie, you think that it's set in ye old times.
Yes.
And then somebody gets sick, I think. Somebody gets sick or something, and they have to... Well, okay, so you're not supposed to wear red or anything like that. You're not supposed to go out after dark, I think. Or there's these monsters that will get you. And somebody gets sick or something like that. So one person leaves the community, and they end up jumping this fence, and we find out that it's actually set in modern history. It's a modern movie. that it was just these people went out to this community, or these people made their own community out in the woods, and they're living in ye old ancient times.
Yeah.
So, but once again, it was marketed as a horror movie that was set back in those days.
I mean,
the porcupine, yes, it looks like a porcupine.
It does. It looks like a porcupine.
It's got quills on its back.
I mean, I watched it and I was like, what? And then when I saw where they get out and it's like just regular, present day, it's just like, really? So these crazy people are holding, like, because ain't one girl, ain't she blind or she's deaf?
I don't remember. I've not seen the movie.
I think, what's her name? Jessica Chastain's in it.
Jessica Chastain.
I think she's in it. And I think she's the one she's blind or she's deaf. And I remember they were just so mean to her, it seemed like. And
yeah.
It just, and Joaquin Phoenix, he was in it. And he was, I love his movies too. Yeah. And hers. And it was a movie that just didn't, I just could not get into it. I mean, it was a horrible movie to me.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you.
I know you do.
I mean, it's not the best movie, but I do like it. I do genuinely like it.
Yeah. All right, what's your last one, sir?
Okay, so my last movie, and once again, it's going to be a controversial one, is The Exorcist.
I agree with you on it, though. The
Exorcist, to me, I'm gonna put it up to a C, because it's not a terrible movie. To me, I can watch the movie, and once again, if you don't know what The Exorcist is about, so it's basically a little girl who gets possessed by a demon. And some priests come and they're trying to exorcise the demon out of her. It was based on a true story. Yeah. I don't remember the name of the person.
Didn't Zach Baggins and them go to the actual house that it was based on?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure that...
We watch a lot of Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures, yeah.
Love
Ghost Adventures.
We watch it every time we get in the mood, like when we're
Spoopy
cooking.
Mood.
Yeah, when we get in a spooky mood and we're cooking, we turn on the TV, we listen to Zach for a little bit. Him and Aaron go back and forth. And
yeah.
They went to the house. They went to the Conjuring house. They went to a bunch of the houses. They went to a lot of places.
Yeah. But the reason why it is so low on my list is because of how overrated it is. So, yeah, it's a decent movie. It's not bad. But
the only thing that scared me mostly about it was
the cross part.
No, I hated the cross part. I hated about the head spinning. That didn't really get me. The music's what scared me the most. The music. They had such eerie music in it.
I'll agree with that.
But I mean, just the movie, I didn't like it. I thought it's something that I don't know. It was just some parts it was just too much. They didn't have to go that far for certain parts. I mean, they didn't have to go that far.
Well, that doesn't bother me.
It does. That's just my own opinion, guys. My own opinion. Everybody else has their own opinion, but to me, they went a little too far and they shouldn't have. That's just me.
It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I can deal with some blasphemy if it's if the movie's good. So no, it doesn't bother me because it is a decent movie. It's not bad, but like I said, the reason why I have it so low on my list is because of how overrated it is. Any list that you go to, and I challenge you to go
to any list,
to any best horror movies of all time
and
list.
There's number one.
And number one is The Exorcist. Always. And God, it's not scary.
There's
nothing about it that's scary. And once again, scary is a relative term. Scary is what's scary to you. I understand that.
What your fear is. I mean, what you prefer, that's fear.
And I believe in demons. I believe in ghosts and demons and all that fucking shit, and I believe you can be possessed, and well, I don't know about that. I don't know if I believe you can be possessed, but I do believe in ghosts and shit. So it's not that I don't believe in it, so that's not why it's scary for me. It's just that it's just not fucking scary. If I like Insidious, okay? Insidious I can't sit through Insidious, but it's kind of the same concept. Demons entering your body and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that right there just tells me that, there's just something about The Exorcist that's just not...
I couldn't.
And I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't resonate with me. I don't know why it's not scary. But I can just sit and watch it and feel fucking nothing. Not be scared at all. And for people to sit there, and for everyone to sit there and say, oh, this is the scariest movie of all time. It's fucking terrifying. It's like, come on, man. It just eats at me.
Yeah.
It just really eats at me to the point where I'm just like, fuck this movie. I don't want to watch it. So yeah, that's, to me, I wouldn't say it's like a terrible horror movie. It's just nowhere near as good as it's hyped up to be. Like The Godfather. Another controversial one there. Everyone talks about how The Godfather is like the greatest fucking mafia movie of all time. Well, is that to say that Casino or The Goodfellas aren't just
them
as
was
good?
some really good movies.
But no, all you ever hear is The Godfather. Which, Godfather's good. I'm not saying it's not. But whatever. To me, The Exorcist is nowhere near as good as anybody makes it out to be.
No.
But it is a decent movie. That's why I'm not
For its time, yes. It was a good movie for its time. It was, But, like I said, too, I think they overdid it.
Well, I mean, look at The Omen. The Omen was made before that. And The Omen's fucking good. Yeah, I like The Omen. But, I don't know. For some reason, The Exorcist just doesn't cut it for me. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why it's not scary to me. That's the whole thing. But it's just not. And for everybody to sit there and say that this is the scariest movie of all time is just ridiculous. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was made in the fucking 70s. Wasn't it? Like the late 70s?
I'm not for sure.
Late 70s?
But it gets crapped on anymore. And I thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was pretty good.
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre? No, it's fucking good. And
I've liked them.
So, I mean, they weren't made that far apart. And so you can't sit there and say, well, for the time. No, there's plenty of fucking movies that were made during that time that are genuinely scary movies. So to sit there and say that The Exorcist is the scariest movie of all time is
I don't think it is.
Bullshit. To you, it may be. And if you're sitting here watching this and you're saying, fuck you, dude, that movie's terrifying. Oh, cool. Good.
That's you, boo-boo.
I'm glad that you, and I'm not saying this in a facetious way, and I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm seriously saying good.
It's your opinion. If you like it, you like it.
I'm glad that you think that movie is terrifying, because I love to be scared.
Oh, I do too.
I love to watch a good scary movie. So if you're sitting here and we're shitting on your favorite horror movies, that's just our opinion, man.
Yeah, just ours.
Whatever scares you, hey, cool. Watch it because I love being scared. So if you love being scared, watch some of these movies. If you've never seen Insidious, go watch it.
Got to. It's a good one.
If you've never seen The Blair Witch, go watch it. If you've never seen It, go watch it.
Go watch it.
Pretty much any of these movies that you see in the S&A tiers.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend it. Highly fucking recommend it. Even the movies in the C and D tiers. All of these movies, watch it for the experience.
Yeah.
And then let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments if you think that...
Or throw out your favorite, what you think the all-time scary or all-time crappy one is. You tell us what you think.
You let us know. And let us know your feelings. If you think Lords of Salem is fucking Rob Zombie's masterpiece, cool. Let me know why. Let us hear it.
Yeah, let us know why these are your favorites.
Because I'm seriously dying to know, and I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I'm just going to tell you my opinion on it. But if your opinion is different than mine and you fucking love that movie, great. I would love to hear that. Just because diversity makes the world go round. It really does. And our opinions are what makes us.
Yep.
So, and our opinions being different is what makes the world such an amazing place.
Yeah.
So yeah, go watch these movies. Even if we're shitting on them, go watch them and let us know what you think. And like you said, tell us what your favorite movie is.
Yeah, tell us. We'd love to know what your favorite one is and why, and what one that you think is just god awful and why. Just let us know. We'd love to see it.
Yeah. But until next time.
Toodles.